look at the consumer from a Main Street point of view. Retailers rolling out the earnings this week, starting with Home Depot, Macy's tomorrow as well. How are retailers holding up? Well, you heard Carl Riccadonna. They should be holding up pretty well, but that's not potentially the conclusion we'll come to when we talk to Mort Singer, CEO of the retail consulting firm Marvin Traub Associates, which consults for companies like Gap and Coach. So we heard Carl. The consumer potentially has some spending power. Is the consumer spending it in US retailers like Macy's, like Gap, the department stores and so forth?
Well, it's interesting. Actually, right now, the consumer is spending, and particularly with various chains across the country, but they're actually looking to put their dollars into experiences. What that means is they're in hospitality, they're in restaurants, they're in the home business, they're improving their homes, and they're trying to entertain more at home. And it's also about the kinds of retailers. So experiences comes down to the way you are served, the way you are treated. So in fact, for the last 40 months consecutively, if not more, small retailers under $50 million have actually grown and exceeded the larger format retailers. So any small chain, the small chains across the United States, the ones that are on the main street that are more mom and pop driven, local,
so not publicly traded.
Not publicly traded. So they actually, and why is that? Maybe because those kinds of retailers are able to actually go to their customer, engage with them, bring them unique services and products, and look after them in a way that may be harder for larger format companies to pivot into.
And yet some of them have been making a big effort on this, you know, to mirror what those smaller retailers have been doing. Even Macy's, for example, with its $50 billion overhaul, putting in beacons and so forth, it's trying to do that. It's trying to be the curator, if you like, of your purse.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, it's an omni-channelization, as they call it, to get to a customer centricity. All these buzzwords of retail are trying to get these big guys down to the granularity of how to actually interact one-on-one with customers. Nordstrom has just spent a fortune on technology as well, just like Macy's. And by the way, you know, those companies have done incredibly well at getting themselves into that position. I'd say remarkably so.
So that's now almost a prerequisite, right?
It's table stakes.
Yeah, putting technology and better technology into your firm doesn't necessarily mean that you'll win the extra consumer, because everybody has to do it now. So who is winning on the choice front, on giving consumers exactly what they want, what they're looking for? Because we talk about consumers spending on experiences, but they like to be dressed up for these experiences most of the time.
I think that if you look at a company like Victoria's Secret, you know, they have, in December, they experienced high single-digit comps, which is fantastic for them. And what they're really trying to do is not just online, but in-store, really focus on how to return the visitor and really see who's coming into the door and actually try and not only convert them, but increase that basket size. And I think L Brands, I think, will probably be one to watch this week. I think they're a fantastic company doing everything they can, particularly as a vertical retailer, to be able to deliver that promise.
A vertical retailer meaning
manufacturers of products who sell direct to the
with complete control of the supply chain, which seems to be the direction that you need to be going in now. What about inventories? Are we seeing you know, healthier inventories?
Well, no. I mean, the weather obviously has been a big factor in that. You've even seen that with some of the larger players in the North Face type segment. VF had some issues with that. Even Nordstrom has had a lot of inventory excesses this last quarter. So you know, people are going to be seeing that across the board.
So there was a story in Barron's over the weekend about Synchrony Financial and their credit cards, their name brand credit cards, really doing pretty well, and how balances have gone up on these name brand credit cards. Is that a concern at all? Obviously, this is, you know, something that we need to keep an eye on, given what happened 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Are consumers starting to spend on these credit cards again?
I think they are, particularly as CRM, customer relationship management, and that loyalty program is very much tied to that credit card. So effectively, you're seeing a lot more dollars going into that form of marketing to retain that customer. So you're seeing the customer actually get more comfortable with that medium.
Who will be the winner this week? Macy's, Gap?
I'm on L Brands. I have to say, yes.
All right, you like your L Brands. All right, thank you so much, Mortimer Singer, CEO of Marvin Traub and Associates.